37th parallel on America's haunted highway, it's Pixelated Paranormal, your guide to the unusual and the strange.
Oh, hey, don't mind us. We're just singing Back That Ass Up by Juvenile because if you didn't know, it's a fucking banger. You can also check out NPR has a really badass concert series called Tiny Desk Concerts. Juvenile does a Tiny Desk concert and it's fucking magical. It is. Yeah. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 340 of Pixelated Paranormal. I am Sean. I am road worn and horror convention haggard, but I'm here. And with me, as always, is Preston. Preston, buddy, how are you, sir?
What's up, all you cool ghosts and goblins, you crocodines and crocodingos and skeletors and skeletons and witchers and witches and whatever the fuck else you want to be. Hopefully, you can hear me now, Kevin, because we fixed the audio on the microphones and turned up the volume a little bit because your fucking old man ears couldn't hear jack and squat. So now you don't have to.
My old man ears can hear that you're chewing gum, and that's gonna fucking drive everybody crazy.
Fuck off. How about that?
No, you should really spit the gum out, dude. It's gonna fucking ruin.
How about that lady that's like, you guys curse too much? If you're still listening, fuck you. How about
cuss
that?
all you want, but you really can't chew gum on a podcast.
All right, hold on.
It's like rule number 1.
There you go. In the trash can.
You could have saved it. You could have put it like off to the side and saved it.
Could I put it under? Could I put it under my mic stand for later? Just put a little bloop.
You probably could.
Yeah.
You probably could if you wanted to. So yeah, we're back. Sorry we missed last week, everybody. I completely spaced off the fact that Corey and I were doing a smaller version of our Pixelated for a Purpose, and we played video games for close to 24 hours. We raised money for local CMN hospitals.
How much?
And,
tell the folks.
$750, man.
Yeah, man.
That's not bad for two people.
It's not bad for two people. You know what? I threw some titty money your way because I love you.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. Thank you, buddy.
You're
yeah,
welcome.
Lots of friends and some listeners. I want to give a big shout out to our buddy Matt and also to Brianna because they watched a fair bit of that stream and even played some Xbox with us. Really appreciate them kind of, supporting us and being there for us. But yeah, and the fact that we did that fundraiser in December right before Christmas was probably to our detriment, but I mean still $750 is a solid number, and we're very thankful for everybody who donated and chipped in for that. It was pretty magical. So we'll probably do another one this spring and have a lot more people involved, Presto and everybody else. So it was a good time.
And Robert, the only two that really count, wasn't a party without me and Rob. So
there you go. That's true. That's true. It was a good time, but yeah, man, I'm a little delirious from driving. I didn't drive that far, 2.5 hours to Tulsa, and Steven and our buddy Brady and Chad, we went down to the Tulsa Horror Con and got to meet CJ Graham.
I wouldn't let either of those guys, all three of those guys, drive my car either. So I totally agree with you.
They went down the night before, but I just went down for the afternoon.
Okay.
But yeah, man, got to see a lot of really cool horror celebs. We got to see CJ Graham. He played Jason in Friday the 13th Part 6. We got to see Ari Lehman, who plays Kid Jason that jumps out of the water at the end of Part 1.
What about Art the Clown? I saw a photo with Mr. Art the Clown.
So
was that a fake art?
We did meet David Howard Thornton a couple months ago, but the Art the Clown today was a fake guy. He was an imposter. Just doing free photo ops, but still fun, still a good time. But we got to see the ever delightful Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, Michael Berryman from Hills Have Eyes, and all sorts of other people, man. The chick that plays Andy's foster sister in Child's Play 2 was there. I forgot her name. The brother in Poltergeist was there, and Bill Moseley, who's just really fucking delightful. He plays, of course, Chop Top in Texas Chainsaw Part 2, as well as like everything that Rob Zombie's done. But it was a good time, man. We had a blasty blast, and I found a white whale, and I know no one else gives two licks, but
you're a nerd. Come on, tell us about it.
Yeah, I found a very good copy of Friday the 13th Part 3D novelization there, and Real quick, this book, I'm pretty proud of this. This book goes for 100 to 150 bucks on eBay. If anybody didn't know, horror movie novels are incredibly rare and incredibly sought after because most of them came out in the 70s and 80s. And these books would be written a lot of times based off of screenplays, but released ahead of time of movies. So, like, you could literally go to a record store, buy the movie score, go to the grocery store, grab one of these off of the register. You could read the book, listen to the music before the movie ever came out. And that was a big way for a lot of underage kids to get exposed to the movie because they couldn't get into the film. But that book alone goes for like 1 to 150 on eBay. This dude had it on his table, and I walked up, and I was like, what do you have on this Friday the 13th book? Well, I don't know, man. I just found it this morning. Like, I didn't even know I had it, and I just stumbled upon it, so I haven't really even priced it yet. I said, man, I'll give you 20 bucks cash right now.
20 bucks hard cash. Hard cash.
Yeah, and he's looked at me like I was the biggest idiot with a little bit of charm. And he's like, that book's $100 on eBay any day. And I'm like, oh, I know. That's why I'm offering you $20 cash right now. And he's like, I can't go that low. And I said, all right.
80 and a hand job?
Yeah, I know. I turned, kind of half turned back around. I said, all right, here's a part where I'm going to get really, or what did I say? Hold on. I forgot what I said. It was really, really funny. Give me 2 seconds. This is great TV. Great TV indeed. Yep, hold on.
I'll give you $40 and blow you under the table right now.
I said, let me, insulting is the word I was looking for. I said, okay, let me make a really insulting offer so that you can tell me no, and then I can walk away and say that I tried. I'll give you $40 cash right now. And he just stared at me and he said, fine, 40 bucks is good.
Oh.
So, yeah, I mean, way more than anybody should spend on a paperback, but knowing what it's worth, and it's one of those things that you rarely see in public anyway.
And then he said, you got any lotion? Because I'll lotion up for you at least. I mean, $40. God, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah, man, most definitely. But, yeah, those conventions are a lot of fun. I really love going to them. You know, it's a great way to meet some celebrities that I grew up watching and all that kind of stuff. But no one's here to talk about this nerdy shit. They're here to talk about the unusual and the strange. So should we just get into it, Preston? Is now a good time to just pop the cork?
Yeah, dude. Hit me with it.
Awesome, man. Well, Death Valley. Sure, we've all heard of this vast wasteland with its average temperatures of over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, known also to be one of the lowest places on Earth. But what if we told you all it was hiding a great big secret under all that heat and all that sand? A giant secret, in fact. A literal secret about giants. Join us tonight as we dive into the secret of Death Valley giants.
Well, 1947. What a time to be alive. Our story starts off with a curious man named Howard E. Hill, who, while at Los Angeles Transportation Club meeting, would captivate an audience with an extraordinary tale that would send shivers down the spines of even the most skeptical listener. That's Sean, not me. I fucking believe in all this shit.
Yep.
Hill unveiled a story steeped in mystery which spoke of an ancient temple hidden deep within the Panamint Mountains of Death Valley, a place where whispers of giants, mummies, and lost civilizations have echoed throughout time.
The tale starts off a little over 15 years earlier in 1931, where a Dr. F. Bruce Russell, a retired physician who had traded the comforts of Ohio for a supposed health benefit of the California desert, along with his colleague Dr. Daniel S. Bovey, who was an experienced archaeological excavator. Both were there in hopes of discovering some of the fabled desert treasures and mining opportunities that seemed to be spreading like wildfire among miners and excavators and archaeologists. The Southwest Desert had become a refuge for many aging Easterners in search of dry air and excitement. But while Dr. Russell and Dr. Bovey were there, during their archaeological exploration, they discovered something far more profound. A subterranean cavern featuring tunnels that seemed to stretch farther than the imagination could grasp. Yet for years they struggled to convince the world of their incredible findings.
So, That burden fell upon Howard Hill's shoulders, and after sharing his story with the Transportation Club on August 4th, 1947, the Associated Press rocked headlines and unleashed a bombshell story that would captivate the world.
Los Angeles, a retired Ohio doctor has discovered relics of an ancient civilization whose men were 8 or 9 feet tall in the Colorado Desert near Arizona, Nevada, California line.
God damn, dude, that's a good voice. You should use that more often. Like, fuck.
I appreciate a woman who appreciates value. Did you ever play BioShock?
Yes.
Oh, God. Yeah, those carnival barker machines.
Boy. The report detailed how several well-preserved mummies had been retrieved from caverns stretching across a staggering 180 square miles, an area that spanned the southern Nevada and reached into Arizona. But more on that in a little bit. Dr. Russell claimed that in 1931, while he was digging a mine shaft, he had fallen through the loose sands into a forgotten underground realm. Later, accompanied by his archaeologist pal Daniel S. Bovey, they had ventured into the depths of the Panamint Cavern, exploring for days and uncovering 32 extensive tunnels filled with the eerie remains of a race of giants.
Now, Presto, did you grab that picture you can throw up there?
I didn't grab it, but
Damn it.
I know.
Sorry, my bad, baby.
I know.
We'll post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
The giants were clothed in garments consisting of medium-length jackets and trousers, extending slightly below the knees. The material's texture resembled that of a gray-dyed sheepskin, but they believed it to be taken from an animal of unknown origin not known today. The room had also held several other artifacts resembling Egyptian and American Indian designs, with hieroglyphics chiseled into carefully polished granite. The explorers believed they had found the burial place of the tribe's hierarchy. After locating the giant skeletons, Russell and Bovey followed another tunnel they came across, and they described this leading to a ritual hall of these ancient people. Here they once again found artifacts and markings and the well-preserved remains of animals, including dinosaurs, elephants, and tigers. Later it was suggested that perhaps these bones belonged to the ancient saber-toothed tigers and mammoths. Further, Russell had described to Hill that he and Bovey only had touched the surface of their discovering, stating that there were at least 32 tunnels, and estimating that they ran across 180 square miles under Death Valley and into parts of southern Nevada.
However, this immediate sensation was short-lived. Anthropologists met the claims with skepticism, fuckers, particularly the assertion that one chamber contained markings akin to those used by the Masonic Order. Despite scientists' disinterest, Dr. Russell and a group of investors created a corporation called the Amazing Explorations, Inc., to handle the release and hopefully profit from this remarkable find. But in the consistently shifting sands of the deceiving desert, Russell could not find the site the next time he tried to show his friends. And afterwards, Russell's disappeared. Months later, Russell's car was abandoned with a burst radiator in the remote area of Death Valley. His suitcase was still in the car. Of Dr. Bovey, he seemingly disappeared into the shadows far away from this mystery. As quickly as the story spread, Hill and Russell's faded from public consciousness, their names lost to history. Daniel S. Bovey would eventually pass away in relative obscurity, his once promising career in fringe archaeology forgotten.
Yeah, A, that sucks, and B, how convenient. Hey, everybody, we found a hole that contained the carcasses of dinosaurs and mammoths and all sorts of other great stuff, and oh, we lost it.
Wah, wah, wah.
Anyway, this wouldn't be the first murmuring of giants lurking beneath the Panamint Mountains. In 1932, Burke Lee, a collector of Death Valley folklore, recounted a tale from a group of explorers who encountered 3 travelers stranded near Furnace Creek. These men, consisting of a man named Fred Thomason, along with Mr. and Mrs. White, fell through the earth near Wingate Pass, only to stumble into an underground city of gold. Though giants were conspicuously absent from the tale, still it adds to the ongoing mystery. Mr. White described a massive chamber filled with gold artifacts and hundreds of men adorned in golden leather aprons, sitting lifelessly, surrounded by wealth that seemed to defy time itself. As the sun sank over Death Valley, the mountains loomed, cloaked in secrets of half-remembered stories of lost treasure. The explorers, frustrated in their attempts to sell their findings for a mere $5 million to the Smithsonian, arguing that the treasure they discovered was worth billions, claimed that flash floods had altered the landscape, burying the entrance to the fabled cavern. John Wesley Powell, the famed explorer, had heard a similar story back in the 1860s. A tale of a tribal elder searching for his deceased wife in an underground inhabited by similar beings. Strikingly, this narrative mirrored the ancient Greek myth of Orpheus. And is that, how do you pronounce that? Eurydice?
Yeah, Eurydice.
Eurydice?
Or
Eurydices.
Eurydices.
Let's call it that. Suggesting a timeless connection between cultures and their shared fears of the unknown. Yeah, classic tale as old as time. You lost your wife and you went straight to hell to get her back, right? What dreams may come with Robin Williams. The legends of giants stretched back to the westward expansion of the 1800s, where claims of 10-foot-tall warrior kings etched through the valleys. Yet these tales were often met with skepticism, as evidence would miraculously vanish or be exposed to hoaxes. In California, grave robber Ralph Glidden claimed to have unearthed thousands of Native American skeletons, asserting they were remnants of a giant race. But the truth behind such claims remained shrouded in mystery.
To further support these claims of hidden underground civilizations, their tales are often blended with folklore. And one particular local American Indian, a Timbisha guide named Tom Wilson, shared a haunting story. His grandfather had vanished into an unknown tunnel along the Panamints for 3 long years, then returning with bizarre tales of a strange people who thrived within the mountains, speaking an incomprehensible language and riding horses through the labyrinth tunnels of their subterranean world. You know, this is very similar to that lady that took the school kids down in the cave in Greece and went missing, but, you know, whatever. I digress. Whoops. In Death Valley, the ancient underground civilization is often linked to the Timbisha Shoshone tribe, who have their own Shoshone tribe, who have their own folklore of encounters with subterranean red-haired tribes known for their ferocity, and even shared tales of ritualistic cannibalism. Archaeological discoveries such as those at Lovelock Cave hint at a rich history that may have be intertwined with the legends of giants, yet the human remains found there were too scattered to substantiate claims of giant burials, leaving the mystery of these ancient beings unresolved. Sarah Winnemucca, the famed 19th century Paiute author and activist, wrote down many Paiute and Shoshone legends and oral histories for the first time. In the small world of giant enthusiasts at the fringes of archaeology and anthropology, she is often quoted as a source of reality of the law of red-haired giant cannibals who warred with her people in the centuries before her time.
Oof. And I think we've mentioned those red-haired giants before in several episodes.
Oh,
man,
dude,
red-haired giants.
The Lovelock Cave is one of my favorite stories about giants.
Yeah.
Well,
such quotes are almost accurate, as Winnemucca does describe a long war with cannibal races and how, with a long war with a cannibal race and how the Paiute forced this enemy tribe to retreat on to rafts in Humboldt Lake, and how her ancestors eventually chased the enemy into Lovelock Cave and set a fire to the entrance. She said, "My people say the tribe was exterminated, but they had reddish hair." This was written in the 1883 Life Among the Paiutes, Their Wrongs and Claims. She goes on to say that I have some of their hair, which has been handed down from father to son. I have a dress which has been in our family for a great many years, trimmed with reddish hair. I'm going to wear it sometime when I lecture. It's called the mourning dress, and no one has such a dress except for my family. And here's also a fun little fact. In a twist of fate, Charles Manson himself even found himself drawn to Wingate Pass in the late 1960s, being captivated by the notion of underground caverns that could shield him and his followers from chaos of the outside world. His obsession with the rumored caverns and mummies deepened, fueled by stories of divers who vanished at Devil's Hole, leaving only questions in their wake. Some say he sat for 3 days, meditating on the edge of the supernatural void, waiting for a sign, a clue that might lead him to a hidden paradise beneath the desert. And I never heard that shit before, man. I heard a lot about Manson, but not that the dude sat on the edge of a fucking cave and meditated for 3 days.
Yeah. As we delve deeper into the lore surrounding Death Valley, we uncover stories of hidden rivers and lakes flowing beneath the desert, leading credence to the tales of miners stumbling upon lost civilization. The echoes of giants and their forgotten histories linger in the winds, whispered by the ancient sands of the Mojave as the search for truth continues. A quest that blurs the lines between history and myth, reality and the supernatural. So let's jump over to the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon, with its breathtaking vistas and alluring depths, whispers of legends that dance between reality and myth, tantalizing those who dare to delve into the shadowy recesses. Among these tales lies unsolved mysteries that beckons the curious and the adventurous. In April of 1909, a shocking article graced the pages of the Arizona Gazette, capturing imaginations across the nation. It spoke of a team of explorers led by the enigmatic geologist G.E. Kincaid, who stumbled upon a hidden cave within the canyon's labyrinth walls. This cave, it was claimed, housed the remains of colossal mummies, beings who towering over 10 feet tall, alongside artifacts from an ancient civilization long lost to time. The article painted a vivid picture of treasures glimmering in the dark, yet as quickly as the excitement surged, skepticism followed, like it always fucking does. No evidence have ever emerged to substantiate these astonishing claims, leaving behind only the question and sense of intrigue, and the fact that the Smithsonian may or may not have fucking cemented the entrance to the cave up and painted it to make it look like the actual outside cave wall, so nobody could ever fucking find it ever again. Fuck you, Smithsonian.
Man, Smithsonian's got a lot of intrigue and mystery, and that's why the Travel Channel or History Channel had that show for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, they seem to have amassed quite a fortune of relics and whatnot, and then also, we don't know where we got them from. It was in a cave, and the guy that found it lost it. I don't know. Oh well. The same article went on to hint at a lost city, a sprawling metropolis rumored to be filled with Egyptian-like edifices and cryptic inscriptions. This notion ignited imaginations, weaving a tapestry of speculation around the Grand Canyon. Yet archaeological investigations have yielded nothing to confirm such a civilization existed. Whispers from Native American tribes, particularly the Hopi and the Navajo, add another layer to the mysterious narrative. Their legends speak of giant beings, powerful entities said to roam the canyon, intertwined with the very fabric of the earth and the sky. These tales are often serving as cautionary fables, echoing through the generations, though they lack the concrete evidence to support claims of actual encounters. But over the decades, reports have surfaced of mummified remains of unusually large individuals unearthed from the canyon's hidden crevices. Yet time and time again, these reports dissolve into the realm of folklore, dismissed by the scientific community as exaggerations. The focus of archaeological studies
it's bullshit. Don't listen to them.
The focus of archaeological studies remain on the rich history of the indigenous people who inhabited the region, rather than the elusive giants of legend.
Well, in the age of the internet, stories have cropped up like wildflowers. Oh, breathe in my smoke. Claiming the discovery of giant skeletons buried within the Grand Canyon's depths. Many of these tales, however, unravel as hoaxes or misinterpretations, whatever, swirling in the seas of misinformation that thrives on existing myths. A notable incident in 2017, which claims of the discovery of a cave filled with giants remains, swiftly fell apart under scrutiny, revealing the fragile nature of the truth in the digital age. Yeah, what the fuck ever. Fuck you, internet. Yeah. The allure of giants in the Grand Canyon persists, enshrined in the annals of American folklore, yet remain largely unverified and enigmatic. as scientists continue to unearth the canyon's geological and archaeological secrets, the specter of giants lingers, fostering a sense of wonder and curiosity that invites further exploration into its iconic landscapes and mysteries. But I'm going to tie this all together at the end because I found a guy who did like a 2-hour talk and wrote several books on this subject. And he's got a name that we both love from a guy that we both trust. I'm going to put like apples and apples, oranges and oranges. So I think this guy's on the right path and we're on to something here. So fuck you, internet, with all your fake lies, conspiracy theorists, and fucking Smithsonian cover-up people. Get bent.
All right. That being said, let's take a little trip away from the Mojave and go to Wisconsin and study its shadowy past for a second, where whispers of giants echo through the annals of time, igniting curiosity and intrigue. You know, we've said something about echoing through annals of time and whispers a couple times during this episode. I think your little AI guy needs to get a thesaurus.
Yeah. Or we just need to get better at like actually editing the notes. I mean, I'm
not going to edit your AI that much, buddy.
Right. So the problem is the AI edits me and I edit the AI and then I run it through one more time. And I when I write, I say so and the and sound a lot like William Shatner. And so that is the problem. It doesn't know what to do. And so it's like, I guess the guy really likes that phrase. So fuck it. Let's just keep it in and let's just keep putting it in places. So.
Yeah. And your AI bot likes the phrase echoes through the annals of time and whispers.
Whispers.
Legends primarily revolve around the chilling discovery of colossal skeletons that were buried within ancient mounds, particularly during the late 19th century and early 20th century. At Aztalan, the archaeological site near Lake Mills, Wisconsin, stands the testament to the Mississippi culture's mysterious earthen mounds. In the 19th century, reports surfaced of an extraordinary skeleton rising from the earth, some claim towering over 7 feet tall. We got basketball players taller than that. Come on. Across the southeastern...
if you think... But no, hold on. Fuck you.
Okay.
Because...
Back off your mic a bit, Deep Throat.
Because if you dig up, like, skeletal remains, and it doesn't matter where you go, whether... I mean, technically you can't do it here in the United States because we frown upon that now, so... Laws. So we got to leave the ancient indigenous people where they're at. I get it. But if you go anywhere else, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, motherfuckers were only 5 feet tall. Okay, that was the tallest the average human being was. They were little guys. They weren't very big. So when you have a 7 foot tall motherfucker, you're goddamn right. They're giants. Look at Shaq. Yep. That guy's a beast. His feet, they're huge. And he's like 7'1". That guy's a fucking giant. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, across the southeastern stretches of Wisconsin, burial mounds built by indigenous people become the center of intrigue. Settlers and archaeologists unearthed claims of skeletons far exceeding normal height, with reports suggesting some even reach an astonishing 10 feet.
We got basketball players 10 feet tall. Come on, guys. That ain't 10 feet ain't nothing. God damn it.
In the heart of the Chippewa Valley, local newspapers buzzed with sensational stories of giant skeletons emerging from the earth. Back in the 1880s, a report detailed workers who uncovered a skeleton measuring over 8 feet tall.
8 feet tall? We got football players 8 feet tall. What are you talking about, man? 8 feet, that ain't nothing. Shit.
Over 8 feet tall while digging a gravel pit. The late 1800s brought forth chilling claims of the Waukesha County, where skeletons found in Indian mounds were described as belonging to giants as well. Local newspapers fanned the flames of speculation, suggesting these remains belonged to a race of ancient beings, but in a twist that would make any investigator's blood run cold. Back in the year of 1912, somebody witnessed a notorious hoax in Delvin, Wisconsin. A local man proclaimed the discovery of a giant skeleton measuring over 10 feet tall. However, investigations would later reveal the bones were merely whale remains deliberately misrepresented.
Because Wisconsin used to be under the sea. Like, how the fuck the whale bones? That's so easy right there. Like, oh,
no, somebody got whale bones and they just like made a fake skeleton, just like Rick Dyer and his fake Sasquatch. I think is what they're saying.
Oh, well, I mean, that could be, but I mean, again, Rick Dyer, if you're listening, quit making Bigfoots with small penises. It's not believable.
Yeah, man, give him a dong.
Yeah, Bigfoot should be hung. Anyways, okay, so this next one, I don't know, out of all of them, this is probably the least believable for me, but modern times, right? Modern times, this is what we get. Okay, so modern times emerges stories about soldiers who purportedly belong to a special forces unit during the Iraq War. He spoke of a mission deep within the rugged mountain terrain where his team stumbled upon a colossal humanoid creature towering between 12 feet and 15 feet tall. Okay, so bigger than your fucking basketball players. And it exuded an aura of intimidation that chilled the air. Despite their desperate gunfire, the creature appeared unaffected, its immense form retreating into the dark mountains after a harrowing confrontation. The emotional scars of the encounter lingered in the minds of the soldiers, a testament of the psychological toil of facing the unexplainable. Another chilling narrative comes from an army ranger who encountered an eerie patrol through a seemingly tranquil rural landscape. As he scanned the tree line, a colossal figure caught his eye, initially dismissed as a mere trick of light, yet his heart raced as he discerned the details. A giant with a muscular frame, long flowing hair, but before he could comprehend the reality of the sighting, the figure melted back into the dense foliage, leaving him in a state of disbelief and dread. The intensity of that fleeting moment has haunted him for the rest of his life and compelled him to ponder whether or not he encountered something outwardly or perhaps a myth come to life.
Whoa. I mean, that is pretty scary shit, dude.
Yeah.
Well, adding to the enigma, there's whispers of soldiers. There's more whispers. There's always another whisper. You think you're done with the whispers, there's a whisper waiting around the corner. Because there's also whispers of soldiers who ventured into intricate cave systems, drawn by tales of the giant. As they delved deeper, the darkness revealed a lurking presence. They discovered a large figure shrouded in the shadows, with glowing eyes and a roar that echoed through the cavern itself, instilling chaos amongst their ranks. When they engaged it with their rifles, the creature's overwhelming strength left several soldiers injured and the rest in disarray, scrambling to regroup amidst the confusion. These accounts paint a picture of something profoundly unsettling, suggesting the military might have buried the truth beneath layers of secrecy. Soldiers emerged from these encounters with lingering terror, gaping with their psychological
grappling.
aftermaths.
Gaping.
Oh, grappling, gaping. Hey, whatever. We don't know what happened down there. Grappling with the psychological aftermath of having faced an entity far beyond the realm of human
I
comprehension.
mean, if they're 15 foot tall, they might be gaping, and when they get done with you,
right.
they're going to stretch your ass out. You know what I mean?
Hot dog through a hallway.
Yeah.
The descriptions often hint at supernatural abilities, immense strength, uncanny speed, and an unsettling resilience to gunfire, all leading to the chilling conclusion that they did not confront a mere animal or human, but something much more sinister. Some soldiers claim to have received stern warnings against discussing their experiences, further fueling speculation about what truly happened and what truly is hidden in the depths of those darkened mountains and unexplored caves. Real quick, that's talked about all the time in other stories we've read. We haven't talked about them on the show, but
Yeah,
there's American soldier.
The Kandahar experience is what they're talking about. So when soldiers in the Iraq War were in the Kandahar region, they reported that they were tracking the enemy down, and this fucking 15-foot tall red-haired bearded giant came out of the cave and just fucked them up, and they finally gunned it down, and then the military helicoptered the body away, and nobody knows what the fuck happened to it. So,
well, I mean, there's also stories that happened over in the USSR and Russia where soldiers.
yeah, and there was actually the Germans have a report that in World War II, when they were in Russia and they were in Siberia forest, right? They were on patrols trying to find those comrades. And they got next to this cave, and they were like, and they're like, oh, what the fuck is that? Is that a drunk Russian? And all of a sudden, this like 7-foot tall hairy dude runs out of a cave, throwing like wooden spears, gets one of them, and they're like 999 and just shot it full of holes, and then they're like, holy fuck, this thing smells, it's hairy, this is not a Russian, what is it? And they're like, we're gonna put it on a report, but don't talk about it, and you lose the report. And it's like, oh, all right,
you got it. There's plenty of stories of European soldiers coming across giant hairy hominids, and even stories about like different soldiers going to enemy bases and trying to like break into fortresses, and those forts are inhabited by tall hairy hominids as well. Man, it's some scary shit. But all that kind of goes back around to your dad and the rock apes, man.
Yeah.
Right, it sounds like a lot of soldiers in a lot of places came across giant hairy hominids.
Right, and they blew them the fuck up, and then we're told not to talk about it. So,
well, I was going to mention real quick before you tidy up. There's also talks of giants clear back in the Bible, and I know we're not going to say the Bible is necessarily the most credible book in the world because it's been rewritten 40,000 times. But like you're talking about David and Goliath, right?
Yeah.
And that goes back to what you were saying about like, let's say David is 5'8", 5'10", whatever. If he comes up across a guy the size of Shaq, 7'1", apparently is how tall you think he is.
What do you think? What do you think Shaq is? 7'3",
I'm going to go
7'4".
7'3". I'm going to go 7'3". But with that being said, I mean, to me or you, that's a giant. Like anybody who's 7 foot tall plus, that is definitely a giant. Whether
Shaq,
or not it's 30 foot tall.
Shaq, if you're listening, we know you're a fan of the show. We appreciate it. Could you please email and let us know exactly how tall you are, just for scientific purposes?
Credit where credit's due. Per Wikipedia, 7 foot 1 inch tall. So good job.
Fuck yeah, I was right. Boom.
But that, I mean, beyond the Bible with David and Goliath, man.
Right.
Like you've got countless stories. We've talked a little bit about it, like just in Fae folklore, but like. Genesis, they talk about the Nephilim or the Nephilim being this race on earth, and what the hell were they? And from the scripture it says, when the sons of God came into the daughters of man and bore children to them, these were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. And I mean, that's kind of on the nose, isn't it? When the sons of God came into the anyway, right?
I mean,
writes itself.
Right,
but I mean, like, there's tales. There's what'd you call it? Spudcocking?
Spatchcocking.
Spadoinking? Spatchcocking, yeah. Spadoinking. But there's also tales of like not only that, but like fallen angels, right? We talked about how the angels who weren't quite bad enough to be cast down to hell with Lucifer were basically cursed to walk the earth, and that's where you get your Bigfoots and your Fae folk and all that. But I mean, there's tales of the Nephilim, like angels having sex with earth women and producing these mini giants and shit like that. But I mean, yeah, the tales of giants go, I mean, you got religion. The Quran talks about giants, Native American and indigenous people all across the world. You got giants in Australia, giants over in Asia. They're everywhere, buddy.
So, to wrap this up, we got to go back to the Bible for a second. There was an author called Fritz Zimmerman. All right.
You know the Bible?
No. But a lot of his research and documentation comes around from studying the Bible. So I think back to the very charismatic college professor that loved archaeology and history that we both had, that got me obsessed with art history, Fritz Hemans. And so Fritz Fritz Zimmerman, I think we're on a right path here. I think that we can't go wrong. Two Fritz don't make a wrong, they make a right. And so he talks about how the Bible has, they break everything down into tribes, right? So you have the tribes of Israel, you have the tribes of this, you have the tribes of that. And there was a tribe called the Anatite. Now, they got shit on a lot throughout everybody else in the Bible, and supposedly God gave them a pass. Like, you guys are dicks, but you're not total dicks yet, so I'm going to let things slide. And
just junior dicks.
Yeah, you're just junior dicks. And there several passages always refer to them as the giants of men. But it never came out specifically said they were giants. So the problem is when you start you try to break down, decipher a language like ancient Hebrew and everything like, ancient Mesopotamian, one word can mean 20 fucking things. So, what modern scholars will tell you that they were like giants of men just meant that they did big things. They weren't actual giants. They did big stuff. They were fucking people up, and they were the hot shots back in the day.
Making money moves.
Yeah, they're making money moves, right? But if you look back at all the reports of the Grand Canyon, right, and you look at the Indus Valley River area of Ohio and like Wisconsin, the Chippewa Valley that we talk about, anybody who has found cave systems that have these markings, they're very Egyptian like. And turn your fucking phone down. I can hear myself talk.
Rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake. So the markings themselves are very Egyptian or Mesopotamian, like that area. And if you do LiDAR on the mounds, the burial mounds, the way that they're set up, they're built like a circle within a square, which is very much like the Pythagorean theorem, which supposedly this Greek guy, Pythagoras, invented, right?
Pythagoras,
But we're showing these mounds in North America that are old, right? That have that are built based off this mathematical equation. You have these mounds built in Britain that are built off these mathematical equations.
Yep.
Anywhere that you see these burial type mounds, right? They're all built with like this, square within a circle, Pythagoras theorem. It was a mathematical equation that was supposed to be like not that old compared to like when these things were actually built. And so we don't in the Bible, we don't know what happened to the Anatites, right? They kind of just disappeared. And Zimmerman really thinks that if you look at these burial mounds in America, because Native Americans have never once said like, yeah, dude, we fucking built these. They're like, no, we don't. They were fucking here. We don't know. We've been here thousands of years, right? We got stories going back from blah, 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 and D. And our ancestors say that these things were already here. And if you look at some mummified remains of the early dynasties in Egypt, those mummies have red hair, which what do the giants have? They have red hair. A lot of our buildings, like the Great Pyramids, the ziggurats, all these things, nobody knows exactly how we built them. Like, the thing with carbon dating, you can't carbon date stone, so you have to carbon date something around it, right? So how many, like Mount Rushmore? Okay, so let's use this for an example real quick. Mount Rushmore, something happens, modern civilization just gets wiped the fuck out, right? So there's no historical record on when fucking Mount Rushmore was built. But how much trash do we leave around all over the place, right? Like a lot. So somebody 10,000 of years of now, they're digging around Mount Rushmore trying to figure out what fucking civilization left this beauty on the landscape. And they find some trash and they carbon date it. Does that mean that that's when Mount Rushmore was built? That just means that what they were carbon dated, that was the last time that human hands have touched it. And so everything that when they go to carbon date it is basically they dig up around it, they find some pots, pans, some wooden tools, and then they carbon date that and they get a date and they say, oh, that's when it was built. Well, that just means that was the last time humans were around doing shit around it. That doesn't mean that's when it was built. And so the Anatites, their king, their tribal leader was King Akhenaten. What does that sound like? What does that sound like to you?
The Anunnaki, right?
The Anunnaki, right? And so that's like, wow, you start making all these connections, these dots. And then the book of Enoch says that the giants were earthbound. They didn't have the total favor of God. So that means that when they died, unlike me and you, these fucking heathens have to basically just kind of, pal around the upside down. They're in the shadow realm, so to speak, right? And so they're earthbound spirits. So if you go to places like Mound Hill Prison up in Ohio, it's this abandoned prison. It's supposed to be the most haunted place in America. 200
every fucking prison, every hotel.
So 200 feet away from that is a fucking like an Indian burial mound, right? So like it's like the dirt mounds that have all these like tribal shit buried underneath it. So he proposes that I wonder if a lot of the hauntings that we see across the United States aren't actual ghosts, but these are these disembodied spirits of the Anatites, the actual giants. And then you start looking at reports of Bigfoot and how some Bigfoots seem to appear and then disappear. That are they not the reports of the actual disembodied spirits of giants? And I'm like, oh my God, this is a fucking rabbit hole. Like, I always think Bigfoot is,
rabbit hole.
maybe part like Bigfoot sightings are half and half. Wonder if half of them are actual, like, the tribe of giants that didn't get wiped out that are still underneath the fucking cavern doing their giant shit. And then the other half where they're like, oh, they just disappear out of nowhere. That's the disembodied spirits of these fuckers because they can't move on. So they're just haunting us. And so I'm like, holy fuck. So, and plus, a lot of the reports say that the giants were wearing aprons, gilded in gold, and aprons are a sign of the Masonic sign of builders. And so, what do? They fucking build shit. They build the temples. And there's if you look at any ancient site, especially like in Mesoamerica, you look at the stuff that was built a long time ago versus the stuff that was built 800 years ago. The stuff that was built 800 years ago, you can get out there at night, you can get all your little fancy fucking camera gear. You can take pictures, and you'll see an orb, 2, 3. But you go to the stuff that was built 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, and you go to take a picture, and the whole fucking thing is just like fucking white snow. You can't see shit.
I can explain that, though.
Oh, you think it's... well, that's just because, there was a wind. There was a windstorm the one night they went out, and so it blew away all the fucking dust, and there was no dust in the photo, but then they went down the street to the other side that was just so happy. It's coincidence that it was 4,000 years old, and they went there, and there was no wind, and so then there was just fucking dust everywhere. But look,
wonder if you go to the come and go gas station right by this fucking burial mound, there's not going to be much dust. You get 1 or 2 orbs. You go to somewhere that's 3,000, 5,000 years old, a little dustier, a little more orb action. You're welcome.
But think about it for a second. If the giant,
pictures of orbs are my fucking bugaboo. I hate that.
I know, but I'm just the reason why I bring it up. Think about it. If they knew that they were spirit bound, like earth bound, and they couldn't move on. And they needed to build altars or structures to be able to energize the area so that they could affect the area and affect humanity. That would explain why the older sites that people, those areas like Punapunko, fucking giants built it overnight. They disappeared. We don't know what the fuck happened to it, right? Some of the places in Mesoamerica, we don't even know who fucking built it. Like, all the jungle people are like, I don't know, we've been in the jungle all these years, and like everybody knows not to go there because there's a flesh-eating bacteria, but we didn't fucking build it. But those sites are charged with energy, which allows them to affect this world, this plane of existence.
I think
versus
you're on the right track.
Versus the stuff that we built, like, ooh, yeah, man, well, let's go. I want to build a fucking pyramid, so we build it. But it's not this. It's not built on the same energy grid. It's not built with the same technology. It's not using the same mathematical equations. Therefore, it doesn't have the potential to affect the area around it like those older ancient sites do.
So you saw the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze, right?
Sure. Who hasn't?
We can both agree he's an earthbound spirit.
Yeah.
And like if he focuses enough of his energy, he can like flick a bottle cap across the subway station.
Yeah.
So I think you're right, but I think what you missed was the fact that these earthbound Anunnaki spirits, the best they can do is just focus all their attention and just fucking blow dust into somebody's camera when they take a picture.
Yeah, yeah.
I just had to, sorry.
No, you're good.
I don't know. I mean, I put more fucking credence into giants than I do into orb photos. So
right, I'm just trying to connect the dots. The only reason why I bring that up is I think there's some relevance to the whole earthbound spirit thing, and that maybe a huge chunk of the hauntings that people experience, especially here in the United States, right? Because you look at all the like mound, like the Indus Valley, how many fucking burial mounds, like these big giant hills that we have. And, there were reports of in the 1920s during the Depression, again, people fucking dug that shit up and they're like gold. It looked like Egyptian artifacts and they sold it to the Smithsonian, and the Smithsonian's like, Yes, Egyptian artifacts. And so every single like Natural Museum of History, when they have an ancient Egyptian exhibit, 60% of that, at least, you could say that is actually here in the United States, and it's not Egyptian. It's fucking giant treasure, and they're fucking covering up those pieces of shit. But anyways, what if a large chunk of ghost activity is not actual ghosts, but it's the disembodied spirits of the giants, who the Book of Enoch also says is like demonic energy, because they're pissed that they can't move on, so they're gonna like fuck with us and degrade us and do whatever they can to make our life miserable here on Earth.
Well, I guess. I mean, the old indigenous stories of giants said that they were very much malicious and had ill intent. So, I mean, maybe even in the afterlife, they're just pissed off and they just, like you said, they try to make our life a living hell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's interesting, man. I think giants is something we can come back to at some point because we just barely scratched the surface. I was reading a story in oh man, I forgot what the name of the book was right before we recorded, but anyway, it told a story about a giant skeleton that was found in England recently, and instead of being clothed in a Masonic apron, they said this thing had like a full body of like armor, which is even more terrifying because like, are we talking about Vikings? Are we talking about like just giant, King Arthur type creatures? What are we talking about here?
I mean, I would like, you remember that scene in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark when they're talking about like the Ark of the Covenant, and they flip open that giant book and they're like point to the picture and it's got the guys in that golden armor like scales.
Oh yeah,
that's what I think of.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, almost 50 minutes. Wow.
I know. I was kind of worried we weren't going to hit half an hour.
Yeah.
After our 8-minute intro, man. I should have made a bigger drink, but well, hell yeah, man. The Mojave Desert, right, is the gift that keeps on giving, and so is the Dead Oracle Volume 1.
I mean, and then think about that the show that we did not too long ago about the lizard people underneath LA. Like there's all these caverns, all this shit. Like how do we know that those weren't like the caverns of the actual giants?
Could have been. I mean, we never said these things were humanoids. They're humanoids, but we didn't say they were human. So I mean,
right. And everybody says giant. They're like, oh, 15 feet. No. Most of these bodies that people actually report seeing, they're only like 6 feet, 7 feet tall. Which I mean, in modern times, ain't shit. But back then, when the average dude's only like 5'1", like dude, fucking 7 feet's huge.
Yeah, exactly. Well, put a pin in giants, man. But I think that's a pretty fair little deep dive.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, thanks everybody for watching, for tuning in, for watching the playbacks. If you're on social media, give us a follow. Instagram, we are at PXL Paranormal. If you're on Facebook, we are the Pixelated Paranormal Podcast. We I might start a Blue Sky up. I don't know if Blue Sky is really worth it or not, but Preston, what do you got on the old YouTubers, buddy?
YouTube, we're up to like 134, 135. So
YouTube, we fell. We lost 200.
Oh, did maybe 234? I don't know. I haven't looked in a while, but it's
hold on. I'll look.
334. Look, I don't got my phone up. While you're looking, look. Let me do Dobbs real quick, okay? Because
328, buddy.
328. So look, like, subscribe, share with all your friends. Come on, help us grow, okay? Look, in a land where giants roam the desert, towering figures with nothing but sand and sun, and they got fucking hobo beards. I mean, they live in the desert, okay? They live in caves, and they get out of those caves, and they look at our fucking glorious human beards, and they get a little jelly. That's right. These giants are stuck with their barrel chins, and but don't worry, giants, you can have the beard of your dreams with Big Dobbs Beard Balm 2.0, because if you need a beard, if you want a beard, if you want to grow the best damn beard possible, don't let the government cover up your chance at great style. Use promo code PXLPARA for 20% off your order. That's right, the Smithsonian. You can't do fucking shit about it because everybody gets to have a wonderful beard with us. Remember, beard butter makes everything better, so why wait? Join the ranks of the bearded elite and show those giants what a real beard looks like. Don't miss out. Get your Big Dobbs Beard Balm today, and remember, use promo code PXLPARA for 20% off your order. Get it all. Get it at Dobbs.
Good golly, Miss Molly. All
Oh,
right.
God.
If you're in the Wichita area, stop by and see our friends over at paranormal.cafe and also our friend Leslie and the rest of the gang over at CD Trade Post, Pawnee, and Seneca. I'm going to raise the leftover goobers of this little, what would I call that? Smoked cinnamon old fashioned and say cheers to the weird shit in the world and those of us who love to talk about it. ASMR.
Boom. Yeah, I already drank all my 90% bourbon splashed with eggnog. So I guess
Okay, fair.
I guess stay spooky and stay on.